On August 23rd and 24th, 1900, in Boston, Massachusetts, the first convention of the National Negro Business League, headed by Booker T. Washington, convened. What an impressive event, bringing together 506 Black businessmen and women from 36 states and territories. They were eager to share their stories about success, support others' growth, and build financial wealth through a massive economic system for Black Americans. Those 2 days were packed with information sharing, dynamic presentations on many topics. One of the most impressive presentations was that of Junius Groves, later known as the Potato King of the world. Hear what he had to say about his business success in Kansas and other Blacks in the area. Mr. Chairman, potato growing. In 1879, I went to Kansas. This is for the purpose of encouraging the young men who wish to go to the beautiful West. I went from the state of Kentucky into the state of Kansas, and I landed there with just 90 cents and went to work for 40 cents a day. There are gentlemen in this gathering who can certify to that as being true. We own in this great valley, the most fertile valley in all the West, 400 acres that can be put on the market at $150 an acre. We have double that amount of land where we grow fruit, having over 7,000 growing fruit trees. In 1897, we shipped 69,000 bushels of potatoes, 1,000 bushels of onions, and 1,500 bushels of small things like carrots and parsnip and turnips and so forth. We did a business of $20,000 in 1899, and from the appearance of things this year, we will do a business of $25,000. I'm telling you this to show that it is possible for a boy to do who had walked from his home in Kentucky into the state of Kansas and accomplish in 18 years. And I invite you from this crowded region to come out into the West and get pure air and have room enough to spread yourself and show your manhood. And then 20 years after, come back and tell the people in Massachusetts what the people are doing in Kansas. We have $80,000 invested in 2 cities, the 2 leading churches in Kansas City, Missouri, and 9 other colored churches with an additional property value of $50,000, making a total investment of $130,000. In Kansas City, Kansas, the colored churches number 12, with a property value of $60,000 and membership of 4,000, making a grand total investment in the 2 cities of $190,000 with a combined membership of 10,000. The colored schools of Kansas City, Kansas comprise 5 buildings with 21 rooms, having 23 teachers, drawing an annual salary of $10,000 and 1,900 scholars. The colored schools of Kansas City, Missouri comprise 10 buildings with 51 rooms, having 55 teachers, drawing an annual salary of $32,000 and have 3,020 scholars. The other colored institutions of credit are the Western University, Quindaro, Kansas, the Douglas Hospital, the Masons and Oddfellows Hall, the Friends of Protection Hall of Kansas City, Kansas, and the Old Folks Home of Kansas City, Missouri. Having in our midst a few Negro businessmen out of the usual lines, we think they deserve special mention. J.A. Wilson, watchmaker and repairer of jewelers in Kansas City, Missouri, from a small beginning some 12 years ago, has an investment of $1,000 and the confidence of both white and colored patrons in his locality, and is doing a profitable business. D.W. White, Kansas City, Kansas, dealer in new and secondhand furniture, hardware, and tools, represents an investment of $3,000 and does a business of $500 per month and gives employment to 3 people of his race. Samuel Diggs, who runs a wholesale and retail junk business in Kansas City, Missouri, has been in the junk business since 1890. By close attention to business, he has increased it till he now does a wholesale trade of fair proportions. He has 4 teams and gives employment to 12 men and 8 women. Miss Ada E. Brown, a graduate of the Lincoln High School of Kansas City, is employed by him as a bookkeeper. In 1891, the A.C.L. Coal and Feed Company was organized with a capital of just $20. They commenced by selling coal for larger firms on commission. Little by little, the business increased until today they have a paid up capital of $2,000 and are doing at present an annual business of $19,500 and give employment to 3 clerks and 9 draymen and other help. Mr. E.F. Henderson has, through his ability and able management, certainly set a worthy example by showing the possibilities of Negro cooperation. The Hygienic Manufacturing Company, capital $2,000, Anthony Overton, proprietor, began June 1st, 1899, succeeding Cook Evans Manufacturing Company, manufacturers of jellies, preserves, baking powder, extracts, and other articles, giving employment to 5 persons and doing a business of $800 per month. After telling you of the progress of our business Negroes in the 2 cities of Kansas City, I would again call your attention to our country. We have, located within a radius of 35 miles of the 2 cities, 312 Negro farmers, horticulturists, gardeners, truckers, potato growers, and dealers who are up to date with all the modern appliances necessary to run their particular kind of business. This was my report. I asked Mr. Groves to tell us his story in his words. I was born in Kentucky in 1859, worked alongside my family and other slaves until we were emancipated. It was a time of jubilation and worry, too. We had never known freedom, and self-determination was a foreign concept. Work prevented me from going to school year-round, but I went around 3 months out of the year. That was enough to help me learn to read, write, and do figures. In 1879, I left Kentucky with 90 cents in my pocket. I joined the Exodusters, headed to the west. We walked, and some had wagons if they had families, but mostly we walked the long miles and helped each other survive. Along the way, I took jobs. One was at a meat packing warehouse. That was long hours and hard work. They paid 40 cents a day. I stayed around there until I was making 75 cents a day, but my destination was Kansas. Once I arrived in Kansas, I found work on J.T. Williamson's potato farm in Armadale. He paid 40 cents a day. I learned all I could about growing potatoes. I worked hard and well, and Williamson noticed. After a while, he raised my pay to $1.25 a day. He promoted me to foreman on the farm. I must say that for a white man, he was fair and rewarded good hard work. Over in Edwardville, I met the prettiest and nicest girl named Matilda. We got married and we had 14 children. I had a whole new ambition to succeed for them. Matilda worked right beside me. We wanted more and decided that renting some of Williamson's land and sharecropping was our best plan toward owning our own farm. We started with 9 acres and made an arrangement with Williamson to use his tools and mule team for a fee. The first year we made $125 and bought our first land, a milk cow, and some tools. We were quite successful growing potatoes and rented 66 acres of Williamson's land, each year buying a few more acres and farming them. Hard work, saving, and investing was our plan. So in 1884, we had saved $2,200 to purchase 80 acres of land east of Edwardsville that I had had my eye on. But the price was $3,600. Miss Rosanna Connor of the Q Nation had made us a deal. It was pretty risky business, paying out every dollar we had saved for 5 years' hard work and close living and running ourselves into $1,400 in debt. But we wanted a home of our own, and I knew that I should succeed much better when I was tilling soil that I called my own. So, despite having 3 children to feed, we were determined to succeed. And in 1885, we were the proud owners of 80 acres of fertile farmland. With Matilda by my side encouraging me, we acquired a sawmill and bought 5 nearby farms, bringing our holdings to more than 760 acres. We grew more than potatoes. We grew vegetables and planted an orchard of apple, peach, and pear trees. We planted a vineyard. In 1891, the Historic Times, a newspaper in Lawrence, Kansas, reported that H.P. Ewing of Lauren, Kansas, and me, Junius G. Groves, were 2 of the wealthiest black men in Kansas. In 1894, the Kansas Blackman, a black newspaper, referred to me as the Potato King of Wyandotte County. In 1895, the Kansas State Agricultural Census recorded me as growing 400 acres in potatoes, 170 acres in apple trees, 160 acres of corn, and 50 acres of cherry trees. We also owned 21 cows, 9 horses, and 24 hogs. So when I came to the National Negro Business League in Boston in 1900, I could tell the story of how to become a successful farmer. In 1902, the United States Department of Agriculture named me the Potato King of the world. Seems I beat my closest competitor on the planet by 11,500 bushels. How did I do this? I had developed superior growing methods to produce 721,500 bushels of potatoes in a single year. During the harvest season, I employed up to 50 laborers, colored and white, to work the farm. I did this in an effort to create good relations between the races, good hard work, but also good fair pay. Our harvests were so large that the Union Pacific Railroad built a railway path called a spur right up to my loading dock. It was necessary to ship the amount of produce I produced that was sent throughout the United States as well as Mexico and Canada. I believe in America. I believe in investment in the community. I invested in several ventures. I opened the Crossroad grocery store in Edwardsville, owned stock in Indian Territory and New Mexico mines, had stock in several banks in Kansas, and a majority interest in the Kansas City Casket and Embalming Company. Soon my wealth surpassed that of most whites in Kansas. That's why I tried so hard to combat racism due to my success by providing economic opportunities for colored and whites working on the farm. But evil sometimes surface anyway. Two of my homes were mysteriously burned to the ground. Many people ask about my wealth. In 1904, my estimated wealth was $80,000, and in 1915, around 300,000. My friend, Booker T. Washington, named me as our most successful Negro farmer in his book, The Negro in Business. Giving back is what we do. I am a founding member of the Kansas chapter of the National Negro Business League. I co-founded the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, the Caw Valley Potato Association, and the Sunflower State Agricultural Association. I invest my wealth in community organizations, and I give a portion of my yearly crop to the Douglas Hospital. There should also be time to enjoy life and the fruits of your labor. In 1913, I founded Grove Center near Edwardsville and sold small tracts of land to colored families. This time, I built a brick home for my family. It has 22 rooms, electric lights, two telephones, with hot and cold water running in all the bedrooms. It is the largest home in the area. I built a golf course for our people to enjoy leisure time. I am ever grateful for the opportunities that I have had to move from slavery to success in this country. Junius Groves died of a heart attack at the age of 66. His funeral, one local newspaper reported, was the largest ever in Edwardsville, and the funeral brought attendance and 300 automobiles.